Greetings, royal family. I am back. Hope you're having an awesome weekend. Now, I normally don't work on the weekends, but I wanted to jump on and kind of chit chat with y'all for a little bit because there's a topic that is circulating all over the internet, and I wanted to kind of share my thoughts and see what you guys thought. So, Miss Dionne Warwick sat down a few days ago with Essence and they interviewed her. She was pretty much there to promote her new album. Dionne Warwick is 70 something years old, and she's been in the music industry for 40 years, 50 years, maybe even 60, maybe even longer than that. So she's been in the music game for a long time. Dionne Warwick has countless hits, topped the charts for years and years and years. Many artists, long after Dionne Warwick was introduced to the world, sampled her music. So she sat down with Essence, not only to promote her new album, but she also was asked, about music today. And she gave her honest thoughts, she gave her opinions, and everybody is in an uproar because they took from what she said. Well, she did say it, that Beyonce is not an icon yet. So I'm sure the Beehive is, jumping off the stage and ready to come at Miss Warwick. But I wanted to talk about this word icon, right? So by definition, and I'm gonna, put my own remix on it, but icon is someone who's like revered and held up to a standard. But Dionne Warwick talked about today's music, and she stated that what she's been listening to, no one is deserving, present day, is deserving of the title icon. She stated that herself, as well as her peers like Patti LaBelle, Sammy Davis Jr., Frank Sinatra, and she didn't name Diana Ross, but you can kind of throw Diana Ross into that category. Tina Turner, the late Aretha Franklin, those people who were her peers and she kind of looked up to and kind of came up in the music industry with. Their music is still relevant present day. You have people sampling their songs, people still talking about them. But she feels that the term icon, in order for you to be deemed an icon, you would have to have longevity in this business, 40, 50 years plus. You would also have to be, I guess, influential. So she did state that she admires Beyonce, watching her grow from young teenage girl into this woman who kind of invented this persona for herself. Dionne did say that's very admirable. She did state that Beyonce is very refreshing to see, so on and so forth. So people are in an uproar because this generation deems Beyonce an icon. Fine, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. But Dionne, I got what Dionne was saying. I got what Miss Warwick was saying. She also made a point to say that let's check back 10, 20 years from now. Will Beyonce and some of these other artists' music be relevant, still be relevant? So, like I said, everybody was in an uproar about this. Some people feel that Beyonce definitely is an icon and she deserves the title of icon. Others feel, that she doesn't. Now, like I said, I totally understand what Dionne Warwick was saying. It's longevity. Because in this day and age, as far as it pertains to like entertainment, especially music, all genres of music, it's kind of like the microwave era. Like, it's so easy for someone to put out their music on the internet and gain, momentum and be the hottest thing out, and then 2 months later we're moving on to the next thing. So when Dionne said that let's check back in 10, 20 years, will their music still be relevant, she says she doesn't think so, based on some of what she's hearing now. So I want to know, what is your definition of an icon, royal family? That's one. Two, Do you feel that Beyonce is deserving of the icon, the title of icon? Like, is she iconic? Get down in the comments and let me know. Let me know what your feelings are. What I think is, I think that people confuse the word iconic with influential, right? So based on Dionne Warwick's definition, now mind you, she's pushing 80, so she has the right, like, she's paid her dues. You know, she came up in a time where racially it was probably damn near impossible for her to have some of the same privileges that these artists today have. You know, she couldn't just like put her music on the internet and gain notoriety. She like really put in work. Not to say that Beyonce has not put in work, but has Beyonce put in as much work as a Dionne Warwick or a Patti LaBelle? No, because there's a significant difference in age. I respect what Dionne said. I don't think that she was trying to be shady, but you know, when somebody says anything, they can put a spin on it and toss it out back to the world, and it just becomes a big thing. And she even said in her interview, she said, you know, I'm not trying to throw shade as you people, you know, as people say nowadays. First of all, if you haven't had an opportunity to watch that interview, Google it, look it up. Miss Warwick looks amazing. She looks great, and it really is a gift to see a woman of her age, much like Patti LaBelle too, like to be still putting out music present day. Like, these women came out before I was even born, and to be introduced to these women and they're still making music to this day, now that is iconic. But yeah, tell me what you think about, like, you know, a Beyonce or a Janet Jackson or a Mariah Carey. Are they icons? Now, Dionne said that Beyonce is not an icon yet. I think Beyonce is on the path of iconic status. I think that she's extremely influential. I think that she created her own lane. Based on Dionne Warwick's definition of icon, then no, Beyonce's not an icon. But based on today's definition of icon, yeah, Beyonce's an icon. I mean, again, she's set the bar so high as far as stage presence. You know, vocally, she has come a long way. When she was in Destiny's Child, you can see that her, you know, she got stronger vocally as she, you know, as years passed. And there's something to be said for that. But like I said, it's 2019. I mean, 20 years from now, are we still going to be listening and referencing Beyonce's music? That's a good question. It's easy for people to say yes, but what if someone else comes out that blows our mind for the next 10, 20 years? Are we going to forget about Beyonce? So longevity is associated with iconic status, according to Miss Dionne Warwick. Rightfully so. She's been in this game for, like I said, over 50 years. So she put in over 5 decades of work. And I don't think that she meant anything by it. I really don't. I don't think that she was being disrespectful or anything like that. One thing that I really hope for is that I can get to the age of Dionne Warwick where I can pretty much say what I want without being unapologetic. Because, you know, some elderly people, they have no filter, and a lot of people just chalk it up to them being elderly. I understood what Dionne was saying, and I'm hoping that Beyonce doesn't take any offense to what Dionne said. I don't think she would, and I think that's one of the reasons why Beyonce works so hard. Like, she puts in the effort, which you don't see with a lot of these artists nowadays. She puts in the time, the blood, sweat, and tears into all of her work, her performances, so that hopefully one day she can gain, you know, that iconic status. So is Janet Jackson, is she an icon? Because Janet Jackson has been in this game for like almost 40 years, if not more, right? Mariah Carey, is she an icon? You know, I can tell you, if Mariah Carey is not considered an icon by Miss Dionne Warwick, she basically is one of the first people in line, because just her one song, All I Want for Christmas, that is going to be just like how we play Nat King Cole, you know, during Christmas time, or the Temptations. We're going to be playing Mariah's Christmas albums decades, you know, to come. I believe so. So if Mariah is not an icon in some people's eyes. She basically is one of the few people that's first in line. I don't know. I don't think Dionne meant any harm. I really don't. I totally get what she was saying. So what I wanted you guys to do is get down in the comments. Don't throw any shade at Miss Dionne. You know, Miss Dionne had a good point, but again, some people will take it out of context and they will remix it and make it what they want it to be. She didn't say anything that was problematic or disrespectful. I also think that like the title of icon is not generational. So just because Beyonce is the icon for our generation may not necessarily mean that she's an icon. Now, what about Michael Jackson? Now, I'm King MJ for life, and even though he is no longer here, would we consider Michael Jackson an icon? I would. I mean, influential. He changed the game. You know what I mean? He changed the game, and he made people like Beyonce and Janet Jackson want to go full on. You know, who else? I can't think of anybody else. I mean, everybody has their own definition of things. I mean, I know there's a textbook definition, but tell me what you think. Do you think that what Dionne Warwick said warrants any offense? Like, was that offensive? Or do you think that Beyonce has a long way to go, as Dionne Warwick stated in her interview? Is that a bad thing? I mean, I think that's constructive criticism. I would want someone who achieved the status that I'm trying to get to critique and say, listen, baby, you know, you're doing a great job. You are very refreshing. It's beautiful. I enjoy watching you do what you do, but you have a long way to go. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, I really don't. For Dionne Warwick to even be paying attention to you, I mean, it's hard not to pay attention to Beyonce because, again, she's like worldwide. And yeah, I think Beyonce, if she's not a icon, I think that she's definitely on the right track to becoming an icon. So I don't think Auntie Dionne meant any harm. I just think that she was giving us the real. And because times have changed from back when she first started to how the music industry is now, people are so quick to throw out these titles just because they're your favorite. But Beyonce has put in work. I will salute Queen Bee. She deserves the title because she's putting in work. And if she continues to put in this work, then majority, if not all of her music will definitely live on years, decades, and beyond. So let me know, Royal Family. Let me know what you think. Was Dionne out of line? Do you agree with Dionne? What's your definition of icon? Is Beyonce an icon? Is she more influential than an icon? Does she deserve the iconic status? And get down in the comments and also tell me who are some of the artists you deem as being an icon. I think this is interesting. It's interesting to see people's reactions and stuff like that. So participate in the discussion. We can keep the discussion going. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I'm signing off. Until next time, peace, Royal Family.